From scrapyard to salvation, Admiral Marcus Chen stared through the viewport at the hulking mass of metal that had once been the pride of the Galactic Concordat's fleet. The GCS Indomitable floated in low Earth orbit, its massive frame scarred by micrometeorite impacts and decades of neglect. What had once been humanity's flagship was now just another piece of orbital junk waiting to be decommissioned. Magnificent, isn't she? The voice belonged to Commander Eliza Reyes, the ship's last official captain and the only person who still seemed to care about the ancient vessel. Chen grunted. She's outdated, Commander. A relic. The Concordat Council has already authorized her dismantling. Modern frigates have twice the firepower at a quarter of the size. Reyes traced her fingers along the viewport's edge, following the outline of the Indomitable. With respect, sir, they don't build them like this anymore. 12 inches of titanium alloy hull plating, redundant systems for every critical function. She was built to take punishment. And too slow to avoid it, Chen countered. The Valkyrie-class interceptors can outmaneuver anything in known space. The new Artemis defense grid can target and neutralize threats from half a solar system away. This old beast, he gestured dismissively, this is sentimentality, not strategy. Reyes opened her mouth to argue but was interrupted by the sudden wail of emergency sirens. Both officers snapped to attention as the station's AI spoke in its artificially calm voice. Attention, all PERSONEL. Unknown vessels, HVENTEREDTEE solar system. Preliminary analyses, INDICATES hostile intent. All military personnel report to battle stations. This is not a drill. The bridge of the orbital station erupted into organized chaos as officers rushed to their stations. A holographic display materialized in the center of the room, showing the approaching vessels, dozens of them, moving in perfect formation toward Earth. What the hell are those? Chen muttered, studying the strange, asymmetrical design of the ships. They resembled nothing in the Concordat database, all jagged edges and pulsing with an eerie blue light. Before anyone could respond, the comms officer shouted, "Admiral, the Mars defense platform has engaged the unknown vessels." The holographic display shifted, showing the massive orbital platform that guarded humanity's first colony. It was humanity's pride. A state-of-the-art defensive installation equipped with the latest in energy weapon technology. The Mars platform fired, its powerful energy beams lancing across space toward the approaching fleet. The entire room watched in stunned silence as the beams simply dissipated against invisible barriers surrounding the alien ships. "Impossible," whispered Chen. "Those shields shouldn't." The aliens returned fire, not with energy weapons, but with something that looked like liquid light. It splashed against the Mars platform, and to the horror of everyone watching, began to eat through it like acid through paper. In seconds, the trillion-credit defense installation, along with its crew of 800, was gone. "They're heading straight for Earth," the tactical officer announced, her voice cracking. Chen's mind raced. The Concordat's main fleet was deployed at the edge of human space, dealing with a pirate insurgency. The Home Defense Force consisted primarily of the new Valkyrie interceptors and Artemis platforms, the very technology he had been praising moments before. As if reading his thoughts, Reyes spoke up. "Sir, permission to speak freely." Chen nodded, distracted by the approaching catastrophe. "Those aliens just neutralized our most advanced energy weapons. The Valkyries and the Artemis platforms used the same technology." "What's your point, Commander?" Reyes pointed at the Indomitable. "That ship uses outdated technology by our standards, but it might be completely alien to them. Kinetic weapons, nuclear missiles, primitive by our metrics, but potentially unknown to their defenses," Chen finished, a glimmer of hope kindling. He studied the old battleship with new eyes. "Can it even fly?" "The engines work. Life support is stable. Most of the weapons systems are offline for decommissioning, but the frameworks are intact." Rise straightened. "Give me a skeleton crew in 48 hours, and I'll have her combat ready." Chen laughed bitterly. "We don't have 48 hours, Commander. Those things will reach Earth in less than 12. Raya's eyes narrowed. "Then give me Dr. Nakamura." Chen stiffened. Dr. Nakamura's research was deemed too dangerous by the Concordat. His neural interface technology is banned for a reason. His technology could allow a single pilot to control all the ship's systems simultaneously. No crew needed. Just one mind melded directly with the Indomitable. "You're talking about a suicide mission." Rise met his gaze unflinchingly. "I'm talking about the only chance Earth has." 12 hours later, Commander Eliza Rise lay strapped to an operating table in what had once been the Indomitable's medical bay. Dr. Nakamura, a small Japanese man with perpetually trembling hands, worked methodically to install the neural interface at the base of her skull. "This was never meant to be deployed," he muttered as he worked. "The human mind isn't designed to process this much information. The strain could kill you." Rise gritted her teeth as another electrode penetrated her skin. "If those aliens reach Earth, we're all dead anyway." The procedure took 3 excruciating hours, but when it was done, Rise felt the ship, not through the terminals or displays, but directly, as if the massive vessel had become an extension of her own body. She could feel the dormant weapon systems, the stuttering engines, the structural weaknesses in the hull. It was overwhelming, intoxicating, and terrifying all at once. "We've done what we can with the weapons," Admiral Chen informed her from the hastily established command center on the station. "The main rail guns are operational. Nuclear payload is armed. We've also installed some experimental systems." "Experimental?" Rise asked, though she could already feel them. Strange additions that pulsed with unfamiliar energy. "Phase disruptors. Gravitational manipulators. Things the Concordat deemed too unstable for standard deployment. If we're going to die today, we might as well throw everything we got at them." Rise nodded, though the movement felt strange, as if she were moving both her human body and the massive bulk of the Indomitable simultaneously. "I'm ready." Chen looked at her with a mixture of pride and sorrow. "Good hunting, Commander." As the Indomitable pulled away from the station, Rise felt a surge of power as the ancient engines roared to life. Through the neural interface, she could feel every vibration, every stress point in the hull. The ship wasn't just a machine anymore. It was her, and she was it. The alien fleet had decimated the outer defenses. The Valkyrie interceptors, so fast and maneuverable, had proven useless against an enemy whose weapons seemed to ignore conventional space. The Artemis platforms fared no better, their sophisticated targeting systems confused by ships that seemed to exist partially out of phase with normal spacetime. The Indomitable approached the battle zone, and for the first time since the invasion began, the aliens hesitated. Perhaps they were confused by this new player. A massive, primitive vessel so different from the sleek, modern ships they had been destroying. Rise didn't wait for them to analyze her. With a thought, she fired the main rail gun. A simple weapon by modern standards, using electromagnetic force to propel a solid tungsten slug at a significant fraction of the speed of light. The slug tore through space and struck the lead alien vessel. There was no dissipation, no shield effect. The kinetic projectile simply punched through the alien ship from bow to stern, leaving a gaping hole. The vessel shuddered, blue light flickering erratically, before it exploded in a spectacular burst of energy. Rise felt a surge of fierce joy that was immediately tempered by the aliens' response. As one, they turned toward the Indomitable, their attention now focused entirely on this unexpected threat. "Come and get me," Rise whispered, though there was no one to hear her in the empty bridge. Through the neural interface, she directed the ancient warship to full battle stations, nuclear missiles armed, rail guns charging, and the experimental tech, the dangerous, banned technology that the Concordat had deemed too risky, humming with potential energy. As the alien fleet closed in, Rise felt no fear, The Indomitable had been built for this, to stand as humanity's shield against the darkness of space. And now, at the end of its service life, it would fulfill that purpose one last time. The battle was joined, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. Turning the tide. The void of space lit up with silent explosions as the Indomitable engaged the alien fleet. What had begun as a desperate last stand had transformed into something the invaders clearly hadn't anticipated: effective resistance. Turning the tide. The void of space lit up with silent explosions as the Indomitable engaged the alien fleet. What had begun as a desperate last stand had transformed into something the invaders clearly hadn't anticipated: effective resistance. Through the neural interface, Rais could feel every impact against the hull, every surge of power through the weapons systems. The aliens' liquid light weapons scored hits across the ship's flank, eating away at the thick armor plating. But the old warship had been built with redundancy in mind. Where modern vessels relied on energy shields and evasive capabilities, the Indomitable was designed to endure punishment. 3 more alien ships fell to the railgun's devastating kinetic projectiles before they adapted. The remaining vessels began moving erratically, their formations breaking up as they attempted to present more difficult targets. Smart, Rais muttered to herself, feeling sweat trickle down her temple despite the bridge's environmental controls. The neural interface was taking its toll, her human brain struggling to process the vast amount of information flooding through it, but not smart enough. She activated the gravitational manipulators, experimental technology that had been deemed too dangerous for standard deployment. The devices created localized distortions in spacetime, essentially increasing the gravitational pull around targeted areas. The alien ships nearest to the effect suddenly found themselves being dragged toward invisible points in space, their erratic movements becoming predictable as they fought against the artificial gravity wells. The railgun spoke again, and 3 more alien vessels shattered into debris. But the invaders were learning. The remaining ships coordinated their attacks, focusing their fire on specific sections of the Indomitable's hull. Rais felt each hit as if it were striking her own body, gasping as system after system reported damage. "Admiral," she managed to transmit back to the command station, her voice strained. "I've proven they can be hurt, but there are too many. I need to strike at their command vessel." Chen's voice came back, distorted by interference. "We're analyzing the battle data. There appears to be a larger vessel holding position behind the main fleet. Our best guess is that's coordinating the attack." "Send me the coordinates," Rais said, already plotting her next move. "Commander." Chen hesitated. The neural interface wasn't designed for prolonged use. "Dr. Nakamura is monitoring your vitals from here. You're approaching dangerous levels of neural strain." Rais laughed, though it came out as more of a pained grimace. "With respect, sir, if I don't stop that command ship, my neural strain will be the least of humanity's problems." The coordinates arrived, and Rais saw it. A massive vessel lurking at the edge of the battle zone, almost twice the size of the Indomitable. Its design was different from the attack craft, more intricate, with pulsing veins of that same eerie blue light running along its hull. To reach it, she would have to push through the heart of the alien fleet. In a modern vessel, it would be suicide. But the Indomitable had one more experimental system to deploy. "Dr. Nakamura," Rais called out, knowing the scientist was monitoring the battle from the command station. "Time to test your phase disruptors." "Commander, no." Nakamura's voice crackled over the comm. "The phase technology is highly unstable. It could tear the ship apart. Or it could get me past their defenses." Rais cut him off. "No time for debate, Doctor. Activation sequence. Now." There was a pause, then Nakamura's reluctant voice provided the necessary codes. Through the neural interface, Rais felt the phase disruptors power up, their energy signature unlike anything she had experienced before, a strange, discordant note in the symphony of the ship's systems. "Brace for phase shift," she announced, though she was the only one aboard the massive vessel. The disruptors activated, and reality, shifted. The Indomitable didn't become invisible or intangible. Rather, it partially phased out of normal spacetime, existing simultaneously in multiple potential states. To the alien sensors, the ship would appear to be in several places at once, making targeting nearly impossible. Ray screamed as the phase shift tore through her consciousness. The neural interface had never been designed to cope with such reality-bending technology. It felt like her mind was being pulled in a dozen different directions at once, each version of herself experiencing a slightly different reality. But it worked. The Indomitable slipped through the alien formation like a ghost, their weapons firing frantically at phantoms. In less than a minute, Rais had positioned the ancient warship directly in front of the alien command vessel. "Let's see how you like this," she gasped, blood trickling from her nose as she pushed her strained consciousness to its limit. The phase disruptors deactivated, bringing the Indomitable fully back into normal space, directly in the face of the enemy commander. Before the alien vessel could react, Rais unleashed everything the old warship had left. Rail guns fired at point-blank range. Nuclear missiles launched, their primitive but devastating warheads detonating against the command ship's hull. The gravitational manipulators created crushing zones of distorted spacetime that tore at the alien vessel's structure. The command ship fought back, its weapons more powerful than those of its smaller counterparts. The liquid light ate through the Indomitable's armor like acid, reaching critical systems and causing cascading failures throughout the ship. Rais felt each loss as if parts of her own body were being amputated without anesthesia. Warning signals flashed across her consciousness, both from the ship's systems and from the neural interface itself. Dr. Nakamura's voice sounded distant, urgent, warning of critical neural overload. Rais ignored it all. She had one final card to play. "Initiating core overload," she announced, her voice eerily calm despite the agony coursing through her body. The Indomitable's ancient fusion reactor had been designed with multiple safeguards to prevent exactly what Rais was now forcing it to do. But through the neural interface, she could bypass those safeguards, pushing the reactor beyond its safe operating parameters. "Commander, don't." Chen's voice broke through the static. "We can find another way." "Negative, Admiral," Rais replied, watching as the alien command ship tried to retreat from the wounded but still dangerous human vessel. "They've seen what one outdated warship can do. They need to understand what happens when they threaten Earth." With her last conscious effort, Rais locked the Indomitable's navigation systems onto the alien command ship, ensuring they couldn't escape the coming explosion. The reactor warnings reached critical levels, plasma containment failing as the fusion reaction began to consume itself. "It's been an honor, Admiral," Rais managed, her vision darkening around the edges as the neural interface began to shut down, protecting her brain from the final fatal overload. The last thing she felt was a sense of satisfaction as the alien command ship frantically tried to disengage. Too late, much too late. The Indomitable's reactor detonated in a burst of energy visible from Earth's surface. A new, short-lived star in the night sky, the alien command ship, caught in the heart of the explosion, was vaporized instantly. The shockwave rippled outward, damaging or destroying many of the remaining attack vessels. And in the chaos that followed, something unexpected happened. The surviving alien ships, suddenly without central coordination, began to retreat. Not in an organized withdrawal, but in panic, each vessel fleeing in a different direction, their perfect formation shattered. On the orbital command station, Admiral Chen watched in stunned silence as the alien threat dissolved before his eyes. The cost had been unimaginable, the Indomitable destroyed. Commander Rais presumably lost with it, but Earth had survived. "Sir," one of the tactical officers reported, breaking the silence, "we're detecting a single escape pod on long-range scanners. It appears to have launched from the Indomitable moments before detonation." Chen's head snapped up. "Get a rescue team out there." Now, 3 months later, Admiral Chen stood at the observation window of the Concordat's newest medical facility, watching as Commander Eliza Reyes took her first unassisted steps since the battle. The neural interface had been removed, but not without consequence. Her movements were unsteady, her neural pathways still healing from the unprecedented strain. "The doctors say you'll make a full recovery," Chen said as Reyes approached, leaning heavily on a therapy drone. "Eventually." Reyes nodded, her eyes clear despite the physical weakness. "And the aliens?" "No sign of them since your little fireworks display. Our xenolinguists have been studying the communications we intercepted during the battle. They're calling themselves the Void Collective. Apparently, they've conquered dozens of star systems by exploiting their technological advantage. They'd never encountered a species that could adapt so quickly." A small smile touched Reyes' lips. "So we scared them off with an obsolete warship." "Don't sell yourself short, Commander. It wasn't just the ship." Chen looked at her with newfound respect. "The neural interface data we recovered showed something remarkable. When you merged with the Indomitable, the ship's systems began operating at efficiencies we'd never thought possible. The synergy between human intuition and machine precision, it was something the aliens couldn't have prepared for." Reyes looked out the window at the stars, her expression thoughtful. "They'll be back, you know. Now that they know what we're capable of, they'll adapt. Next time, they won't underestimate us, which is why the Concordat Council has unanimously approved the Indomitable initiative," Chen replied, unable to keep the pride from his voice. "A new class of warships built with the lessons we learned. Durable construction, redundant systems, kinetic weapons alongside our energy technology, and a modified, safer version of the neural interface for command officers." He paused, watching her reaction carefully. "The first ship is already under construction, the GCS Reyes." She turned to him, surprise evident on her face. "Sir, They wanted to name it the Indomitable Chen interrupted, but I convinced them otherwise. Some legacies deserve their own recognition." For a moment, Reyes said nothing, emotion playing across her features. Then she straightened, her posture becoming more military despite her physical weakness. "When will she be ready for her captain?" Chen smiled. "The doctors say you'll be cleared for duty in about 6 months. The ship will be waiting for you, Admiral Reyes." Her eyebrows rose at the promotion, but she accepted it with a simple nod. Together, they looked out at the stars. Stars that remained free because an old, discarded warship had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in having the newest technology, but in the indomitable spirit that drove them to use whatever tools they had to survive. And somewhere out in the darkness, the Void Collective was learning a harsh lesson. Never underestimate the species that turns its own junk into the most terrifying weapon in the galaxy.